I'm delighted to have here with me for this conversation Victoria Bousis. She is the creator, the writer, and the producer of this work that you can see behind my shoulders. Stay Alive, My Son. It's a dramatic story on a child missing in Cambodia. And so you will let us know a little bit more about this story that you presented for Venice Immersive, but I would like also to know a little introduction on your profession and how you started your journey in this area, because I've noticed that you start as a prosecutor in Illinois for Attorney General. So it's really fascinating, first of all, you as a person, as a professional, so you can better understand then how you design and you conceive the story.
Sure. First of all, Simona, thank you very much for having me on your channel. It's always lovely to meet other audiences and other people. So thank you for the opportunity. Yes, you're absolutely right. I started my career in my 20s as a prosecutor for the Attorney General's office in Illinois. That came because of my mother, essentially. She was always somebody who believed in protecting human rights and giving people a voice who didn't have a voice. And at that time, I was very influenced by the things that I was seeing. And I thought that the best way of using my skills was to actually defend people's rights. People are very important to me. And I believe using your voice and using your abilities is sometimes the best way to help these people. Later on, from a series of strange events, I ended up moving to New York and came across a director. Little did I know that then that my meeting with this man, Amos Poe, would eventually involve me into becoming his producer and first being introduced to this idea of filmmaking. Our first film actually was invited to Venice in the Orizzonte category, and this was in 2008. So my career then took off as a creative producer, which means basically everything from taking an original piece, whether it's a book, a true story, and making it into a screenplay, and then making the film. So I got very knowledgeable in the process, and also in writing, dealing with actors and working with them, and dealing with a lot of different people on set, and the entire process. And I was in love with it. I love the ability to tell human stories with a strong human experience. And so around 2015, 2016, I started noticing a very interesting change. No longer were people going to the cinema, unfortunately, but there were more attention being given towards content consumed by others via streamers. And I noticed that there was a lot of content. And instead of the youth talking about a certain film that had made an impact on them, I started hearing more about games and the idea that games had become very, very complex characters and really, really empowering and emotive character lines, narratives. And alongside that was this rise of this new technology called virtual reality. And I thought to myself, what would be the next step of film in my mind, taking into consideration all of these things? And I said, wouldn't it be interesting if we can step into the shoes of the main character of a very powerful story and experience their journey, stepping in their shoes and going through their experiences, going through the spaces that they lived in, reaching out and touching the characters in their life. And I thought that that would be a great way to bring gaming in, but also to educate people about other experiences, other cultures, and other histories in this very fun, entertaining, but also powerful and meaningful way. And there came my work that started in virtual reality. I did my first experience at MIT because I went there and I earned a master's in media technology and innovation from the School of Sloan. And I made my first virtual reality experience there in school. And I fell in love with the medium. I saw the potential, I saw the power, I saw how deeply people were moved by this way of telling stories. And I thought that it stayed with them longer than something that we just watched and then we went on with our lives. And so then I thought about what I wanted as my first really, really challenging project. And then I remembered a book that I had found many years ago, about 9 years ago in Cambodia, Stay Alive, My Son. And the rest of the story is as you know it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you develop a word starting on scratch from these stories, and so you run also a creative, innovative 3D studio, UME, that is based New York, Los Angeles, and Athens as well, if
Yes.
I'm right. Yeah. And I wonder, you had a lot of work preparing not only the production but also speaking with these the protagonist of the stories, that is this guy you met in Cambodia, and then you develop through that technology the way to find his son, that nowadays could be recognizable after developing from 5 years old till 50 years. Can you tell the process of these things? Because it's really interesting. Also, we can use technology also to find and to search people, isn't it?
Yes. So I met Pin Yathay in France when I realized that he was alive and living there with his new wife and his three sons. And when I went there to ask him if I can do his story in virtual reality and explain to him a little bit about the technology and why I wanted to do this, he quickly understood, not exactly so much about the technology, but he understood the potential of reaching younger audiences, to tell his story and to preserve the history alongside the tragedy of his country during the Cambodian genocide. So when I went there, we had taken his photo of his son, Nawat, who he only has one photo left that he had hidden in his pants. He was 6 years old. And I contacted some friends of mine in Lola VFX, which is a company in Los Angeles. Thomas there is also a former MIT alumni as well. And he specializes in aging. So he does many movies like Benjamin Button and other notable films. And I said, can your artist, using technology by taking both Pin Yathay and also the photo of his wife back then, and use the aging characteristics to see what Nawat may look like today? And so he did that. And I came with a photo during my interview with Yahtay, and I showed it to him. And I was very nervous, but also very excited, because I was thinking, I'm going to show this picture in the experience because the experience may travel around the world. And who knows, someone may recognize this boy and this, or man, I should say, that may still be alive. And so I showed it to him. And after a while of being very, very observant of the photo, he says to me, that's not my son. My son is a 6-year-old boy. And that was the moment that it clicked to me that the story is not only about the book, which was from the years of 1975, when the fall of Phnom Penh and the Khmer Rouge took over Cambodia in this manner, till 1979. It was the years and the decades lost in between of this father 45 years later looking for his son, who in his mind and his heart was still alive, and was still a boy. And so what I did during our meeting is I also asked him if I can also take his saliva so that I can put it on 23andMe, which is a company based from the United States that pulls the genetics, and it goes online and you're able to actually see if anyone else matches your DNA. For instance,
Wow.
surprising that you actually asked me, that you actually asked me today, because I get notifications on my phone once a month when new members. And today I actually received another notification saying that 23 other people that are related genetically to Pin Yathay have also emerged. So I think somehow, some way, if this young man is still alive, I think potentially we can find him. So I wanted to really, with my heart and all of my, emotions, to see if I can maybe reunite this man with his lost son. So we're still, hoping for that. We are still looking to work with other companies around the world to help maybe form another platform that people can put information. For instance, we are working closely with the International Red Cross, UNICEF, um, and the European Council and European Parliament to see what are the steps that are being taken today once tracing has been done. Once we trace that, yes, there's a person that's connected to this lost father, mother, parent, or child. Right now, the process takes many, many years to bring the people together, even though you know that tracing with biometrics, genetics has been proved. So what I hope with this experience is to bring to life the loss, the ambiguous loss that's felt, and the trauma by both parents and lost children that have to sit there for months, years, decades, wondering where their children is. Unfortunately, back then there wasn't this kind of technology. Yahtay went around orphanages. He went to various refugee camps looking for his son. But today we have technology, and billions of people are connected with the cell phone alone. So I want to see if this project can help bring companies together, like Google possibly, alongside the International Red Cross and tracing mechanisms to see if we can make that time shorter. Because parents should not wonder whether they made a mistake, especially during horrible situations like even the Ukraine war now. And also children and unaccompanied minors should not feel lost and unable to get to their parents. So I hope to make some impact and to change this narrative of separation to one of unification.
So it's an incredible way to redefine storytelling on human tragedies. And I think it's one of the goals of your participation in Biennale. It's also to find this little guide that now little is not anymore. But and
Yes.
what else you wish to get from your participation in Biennale? I know that you've been displaying your works in very important festivals such as Cannes, and I read in a rush everything, but it's an enormous list of participation. So what do you expect from Biennale, from Italy?
Sure. I think with a festival like the Biennale, which is such a high esteem and prestige across cinema and other medias, I was hoping that with this kind of festival, not only would the project get more attention on a global level, could also inspire collaborations with other people in the film industry to give this medium a chance to see what we can actually do, to see the power of how high the graphics can be, our use of meta-humans to bring digital humans into this conversation, to humanize experiences. And through the use of that, I'm also hoping that it continues to grow. Venice was the first festival to ever include immersive content in a proper and formal and prestigious film festival. Because of Venice, other film festivals like Sundance and Berlin and Tribeca and Cannes continued. So my hope is that I can continue to expand the message of this project, show the potential of the medium, that it can be fun, enjoyable, but also have impact, and also continue to make more more collaborations with other filmmakers, other production companies, to start bringing to my attention also stories that I may not know. from various parts of the world, of other ordinary people who have accomplished extraordinary things because of circumstance. I think these are our heroes of today, and heroes of the past, that their story should not be lost. And I think sometimes finding heroes in ordinary life reminds us of the strength of the human spirit and our potential as people, that we too can aspire incredible things. And despite tragedy, we will always rise to something greater. And I believe that with my heart, and can't wait to find the next incredible story, to continue bringing these stories to life.
Oh, what a wonderful speech. I have to say that you embodies many virtues, not only different professions. So I'm absolutely pleased to have you here. So it has been so interesting to know more about the process, the technologies, and I see how much on you put on from the attorneys activities as well inside this, and so I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you in person one day, and so enjoy. I know that this evening you will be participating to the closing party there, I think, in Biennale. Everybody is thrilled about that as well. So welcome again in Italy, and good luck. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Simona. I appreciate it, and be well. And I look forward to meeting you as well one day. Thank you very much, everybody who's watching as well. Thank you.
Ciao. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao,
Ciao.
ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.